Okay, so what are the steps of what I did to lead into this meeting? So step number one is found a meeting time. So that was way up here, finding a meeting time. We arrange a meeting time, kind of like what we just did. So we ended this meeting arranging a new time. So now that a new time is set, there's lots of small seed plants that I do between the meetings, so that way the meetings could be very effective. So there's all these small things that happen in between the meetings, just like conversation grabbers. If you notice, like Nick posting his big three, or asking questions, or being on top of the chat, Carlos posting his stuff, all of that was created in one-on-one conversations. So I had a one-on-one conversation with Nick. Hey, post your takeaways from a video. Carlos, post your big three. So it creates culture. It creates activity in the chat. I want activity in this chat every single day. So that activity is created independently, one-on-one. So that way, when I come to a meeting, I can brag on the stuff that's happening in the chat. That's the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then the day before, I will post the like what we're going to be talking about in our meeting. So that way we have an agenda going into the meeting, along with the Zoom link. So even though the Zoom link is already on the calendar, I post the Zoom link here, and then there's just talking points. These are just the talking points of what I wanted to talk about. This first one is usually pretty much the same. What's hot, what you appreciate. I added this one just because it was new for this group. And then it's like, these are the stuff. It's a lot of review of the things that we've been going through the chat. There's not a lot of newness. I might bring one new thing to the all departments meeting. It's how often can they hear the same thing over and over again? Because if they hear the same thing repeatedly, that means it's important. So I don't want to fill their mind with a bunch of stuff that's not important. I want to fill their minds with all the stuff that's important. So what's important right now is getting comfortable with the front part of our funnel. That's it. That's the only thing that's important right now. And then the next phase will be whatever the next part of the flow chart is. So we're just taking bites of the flow chart. And what I'm gonna do right now, as the last part of this process, I run the meeting. Now, when I ran the meeting, what did I do? Again, you could watch the video, but what did I do? Same slides. Welcome behind the scenes, what it means to make your difference. I go through the vision, the purpose, the mission statement, and what we do. I introduced the Game Changer team. I showed our territory. I showed what's possible. I showed our goals. And then I pulled up the flow chart. It is pretty much a staple every time. Now, right now, we're in this top part of the flow chart. Then we're going to, as we review, we'll review this next part of the flow chart. Then show to training, the next part of the flow chart. And that way they understand and reminded every single week, what is the process? What is the flow? What is the process? What is the flow? There's not a lot of newness. It's just do the process. So that's what I want you to pay attention to. Now, leaving the meeting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of those slides and post them into the all departments chat. So that way they're documented. And you might say, Mike, do you take a screenshot of the slides every single time? Not necessarily every single time, but if there's a new slide, 100%, I always post a new slide. And if there's a slide I want to make sure that I could reference throughout the week, I'll post that slide to reference them through the week. And you're going to see me do that right now.
Okay.
So I recorded this. Any questions or anything just to capture this for you?
No, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, you're a great student, and I'm doing the best I can to train you to think like me and act like me. So sometimes it's going to be really intense, and sometimes it'll be lax. And, that's that Cancer personality, that water sign, it's like flows, and, like you never know what you're going to get. So just gotta, kind of roll with it. And then backed by fire, Leo rising, and then you got the wrath, I'm a fucking mess, but I'm also have that Libra moon because I want to please people. So well, you'll learn about me. It's all good. Are we good? Any questions?
We're good. Are there more meetings that I can sit on the wall for the boot camps you were talking about before? Am I able to sit in on like a fly on the wall if I'm scheduled?
You can. I'm sure I can get you there. Those are with Jeff. I have you meeting Jeff. I don't know if you saw that calendar invite yet, but I have us on Wednesday the 29th.
Yep.
So at 10 a.m., that's going to be when you meet Jeff. And then starting on the 30th, the Thursday, the 30th, that's
Yeah.
when you're going to start joining those, weekly sessions with all of with the division. And I got to add you to this invite. So let me do that. So that's when he requested to meet you and start and all that stuff. So he's an amazing personality. Jeff is pre-med mate graduate. I mean, he's been in Cutco since 1997. So he's responsible for almost $100 million in Cutco sales. So
Wow.
he's one of the greatest in the company's history. Super awesome personality, like makes a lot of jokes and real likable guy. So you'll mesh real well with him. And my
Awesome.
goal, it's so new that
Yeah.
I'm gonna be transparent enough with him, but he does not need to know how much I'm involved or not involved. All he's gonna care about is that you show up and that you're running the ship and that I'm leading through you. That's it. That's all he cares about. So we'll make that transition. Obviously, we have 2 weeks, or I guess that's 2 weeks away. So I'll figure out when those boot camps are. We'll post them in the chat and you can sit on those. But again, Jeff is picky with a video on type of situation. So if you're going to be on those, then you want to be present. They're
Oh,
pretty intimate. They're like 6 people type of thing.
oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I started watching, well,